Everybody, it's Martin Flicking Feathers again today, and I'm tying the Hang Time Optic Minnow. It's a really effective pike and musky pattern, originally tied by Bohen. Well worth a place in your box if you target any of the e-socks, or any big predator really. So, as always, the material list will be in the description along with a link to social media and my Patreon page. Should any of you wish to support the channel, that would be really appreciated. So I'm just crushing the barb on this. This is a Partridge Attitude Extra. I'm just going to start my thread, and I'm just using black big fly. You could use GSB, whatever you like. I'm going to take my thread back to just in line with where the barb was. Trim that off, and I'll just get a bit of super glue on the shank there. And I'm tying a black and blue version, so first things first, get some Bucktail. Try to avoid dropping your scissors. Then just, if you hold your bucktail about a third of the way up, hold it quite tight, you can pull away any shorter unwanted fibres. Then I'll come in and I'll square up the end. Then I'll tie that in, just offer it around, and I'll let it go around the shank. Pull it nice and tight. And I don't trim these ends, I just fold them back. You don't need to be too fussy, you can, if you trap something it doesn't matter at this stage. And then just build up a wee thread dam, and that's them locked in place. Next thing is a couple of feathers. I'm using these grizzly dyed blue from the back of a Met's saddle. These are just nice big long feathers that, and they're too big for your wet flies and what have you, so it's nice just to find a use for them. Snap away the waste. Same with this one, just fold it back. Oops. Make sure you keep your thread tight when you do that. There we go. So you've just left a stem there. Just come in, trim that away. Right. Make sure that's nice and tidy. So for the flash and the tail, we add a mix of different magnum flashaboos here. Just keeping with the theme. Put some blue, some silver holographic, just roll them together. And I'll add couple of strands of black saltwater flashabou as well, which is slightly thicker than the magnum, but I like how having the different lengths and different thicknesses. They all sort of move slightly differently. So we'll mix them together, I'll tie them in, come over the back, and I don't mind these being like just slightly longer than the feather. Just pinch and loop. Fold them back, and sort of keep them spread around the top of the shank. Same again, just another bunch of blue bucktail. Clean out any short rubbish fibres. Come on. Get them nice and secure. Make sure you've got a nice spread around the hook. And when you're happy, you can just pull everything back. And tie in front. It's a really nice tail, so it's easy to manage. And you'll see there I've not got a ton of bucktail, it's quite sparse. Right? There's a real danger of overdressing these. If you put too much material, they don't move very well in the water. Just a wee bit of super glue here, just for durability. Then we'll take another 2 feathers. Same as before, we'll just lie them on top, tie them in. I'm just going to cut this because of the way the feathers kind of trap there. And you'll notice I'm trying to keep everything in the same spot here. After the creep at the tail, if you can keep everything together, it will make tying your next bunch easier. Now that we're into the body of the fly, I'm going to switch my flash to just a standard width, and I'm using sybai tinsel blend. I'm going to shorten it slightly and re-taper the ends. It's good if your ends are tapered, make sure they're always uneven so that they separate in the water. If you don't, they just all clump together and it's not a very nice effect. And the same again, just tie these in. This is a slightly lighter blend, it's just silver and blue. Fold it back. And you can just use your thumbnail, make sure it's spread sort of across the top half of the shank. Stick some super glue over this. And then it'll come in with my final my final section of blue. Again about the same thickness, maybe half a pencil. Once you clean at the ends, trim it so the ends are square or even, and then offer it around the shank, quick couple of wraps. Make sure it's got good coverage. And tie off in front. Now this will be the last pair of feathers that I tie in. I think 6 is plenty. But as before, try to keep your tying in the same area. A bit more flash. And I'm going, because I'm coming into the next bunch will be black, I'm going to use a dark flash here. This is the blue black sparkle here. But I mean, you can use flashabou or whatever. It's not super important really, as long as it's flashy. But again, this is just a standard width, it's not a magnum. I'll let this come back, you know, about halfway into the tail. Same again, just make sure it's spread across the top and doubled back. You can see there it's starting to get quite a nice sort of transition into the darker back there, plenty of flash, quite nice. As always, stick a wee bit of super glue. Then I'll take some black bucktail. Just get my thread sitting where I want it. Offer it in again. Again, we're making sure that we're nice and tight. A bit of super glue can help you, especially at this area where your thread might be slipping and you don't have the same space to build up a ramp. It just helps you get that that cone of thread to develop. So at this stage there's no more feather. We're just going to have a bit of flash and then into the wing, then into the final collar. But we're changing the flash again. You don't really need to change it, but I know that when Brad Bohen ties them, he likes to mix it up a wee bit. So I've got some crystal flash here. I've got a good thick bunch, so maybe I have 20 or 30 strands here. Make sure there's no wet glue, and I like to keep this just kind of in the body. A loose gathering wrap, and I'm going to allow it to go all the way around this time. And then double it back as always. Get that tied in nice and secure. And that says we've got room for just one more collar of bucktail. As always, just prepare it, take any rubbish out the back and square off the ends. A couple of wraps, make sure it's spread around the shank. Can be a bit tricky with the eye, but you'll get there. Pull tight. And just push everything back. You can even use a hair packer if you want. I like to just shove this front bunch back fully. And then I'll whip finish. Although you don't really need to. Just a couple of half hitches is plenty. And that's the tie-in, more or less done. Just to add the eyes. So I'm going to just come in. Now, unlike the original, I don't like the eyes sitting away in front of the fly. That's why I've tied that extra bunch of hair, because I like the eye to overlap the front tie. I think it looks a lot better, and the fly still behaves nicely the same way in the water. So these are just 12mm dome eyes, which also, I mean, you can't, it's harder to have such a big eye. Make sure they're nice and even. Then when you're happy, you can come in with some UV resin. At the end of this bottle, it seems. There we go. I actually quite like epoxy as well for this, because the epoxy is actually an adhesive, but for the purposes of the video, this is fine. And I'll just set that at an angle that I like, zap it with the light. Make sure just fill any low spots. You can come in and bake it again. And same on the top. Make sure and get it right in there. Just turn it, get it to a nice smooth round head, and then hit it with the light. That'll stop it moving. Once it stops moving, that's it, you know, you don't need to worry. Just get it cured. And then to make sure that the eyes don't come off, I'm going to take some thin resin, coat the whole eye, which don't go off the eye, and the head. And it's just a case of rotating it. Making sure that it's nicely fully coated. And again, that's the heads encased. The eyes are trapped in, they can't fall off, you don't need to worry about the super glue not holding them. As I say, I've got a bigger eye than the original, but the fly still behaves in the same manner. So, I hope that was useful, hope you enjoyed it. If it was, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give me a thumbs up below. Tight lines, guys.